Okay, hello everybody. This is my second interview of students from Bay Path Robotics. So, if you can, please state your name.
Wyatt Rose from Bay Path.
And so, what grade are you in? High school?
I'm a senior at Bay Path Technical High School.
So, are you interested in robotics or engineering or?
I'm more into the programming rather than the engineering, but for robotics in general, I've kind of always been into it and did a lot last year and this year with it, with different robots and stuff.
Okay. So, kind of talk about what you've been doing with Task, and you've been programming the Mini in Task.
Yep. So this isn't my exact program. I did a lot with this basic structure though. A lot of my programming was designed around the distance management sensor and how to use that. So what I was doing was trying to determine how close I was to an object, and if I was that close to the object, what I should do. For example, if I should keep moving forward or if I should go to the side of it or how to approach it. So mainly I was using an endless loop to constantly be going through. And in this endless loop, if I wasn't in front of anything and nothing was going wrong, I would constantly be calling a step forward method from a motion index file that I downloaded onto the Darwin. From there, he would determine if he could keep stepping forward or if he had to decide to step to the right, which would be using the if statements. It's the task itself. The environment is nice, definitely for like beginner programmers, I would say. For myself, it was a little bit difficult to get used to because I was used to typing code and like going through the whole thing. Task introduced a new idea of drag and drop with the actual coding elements itself, with the if statements and the loops and so on. So that was a little bit different to get used to. Definitely if you're starting out, it will make sense. It teaches you how to make decisions and what loops are, which is really helpful. For my specific case, it was a little bit difficult to get used to because every now and then I wanted to just type in the if statement and type the variables and call them myself. But it's definitely a really easy way to get into it, and it made sense.
So, what was the main reason why you decided to go with Task instead of Motion?
So with Motion, I like the idea of it. One of the other kids in our group was using it for climbing upstairs. That was a steady motion. He was always going to be doing that. But I've always looked at like problems as if I can find a way to like sense a step, or even sense an obstacle. If I can write an algorithm for that, even with a flowchart, it's easier to process something then. Because if he steps on something wrongly, he'll never know because it's just going to be a straight motion. So for me, it was about the sensors, the easy sensor application for a task, and to like get used to it. That way I wouldn't screw anything up because I could have him walk forward X amount of feet and then realize that know that the object was there and take a side step to the right. But if I'm able to make it so if that binder or block or whatever's in his way moves a quarter of an inch to the left or however, if he's able to see that and make the decision on his own, that's going to be huge for getting through everything quicker.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you had more time, maybe like next year, would you continue to use Task, or would you go with trying to do Embedded C?
So that was this OpenCM platform. It would have to go both ways, really. I like the concept of typing, like I said, because that's something I've always been used to. The Task does make it really easy. It makes it easy to communicate. It makes it's a friendly environment. I almost just wish there was a middle ground between the two. Definitely looking into Task more, I would say I would most likely use Task. Because I realized the more time I spent with it, the more time I was able to find where everything was and find tutorials on how people did certain things, and that was easy to me. So I'd say Task for that concept of it.
Okay, so would you think a forum or a place people can share code and ideas of what they're doing with the robotis-mini would be something you would like to have?
Oh, absolutely.
Have available?
Absolutely. If there was like one place where everyone was putting in information and like places where everyone could go talk about what they found, talk about what needs to be fixed or how to fix that, and the community as a whole like gets together to talk about it, That'd be really beneficial. I know at one point I found a Google group on it, which was unfortunately updated every few months,
Right.
and it wasn't. Not everyone was there. Obviously, everyone's here and there. For one of the other robots we use, they have forums like that, and it's hugely beneficial to find other users because the developers can go through as many problems as they can encounter. They can find everything they want, but when it comes to application, it's the users who are going to find the things the developers might not think to find.
Is this your Durham Mini?
That's the one I was using. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the sensor right there that
Yep.
you're using for optical avoidance.
Yep,
Okay.
I was using the DMS sensor. We have kids in electronics that said the sensor is a little bit hard to use all the time. It's a little bit inaccurate. For myself, when it came to the R-Task, another really handy thing with the R-Task was I could easily hook up the sensor, easily read out what I was seeing in real time, what the sensor was saying, and then I was able to make an averaging program to decide really what the range was and how close something was.
So you're saying something like a built-in Kalman filter might be helpful?
Yep.
If it's not there, to have that added to your task for
Yep.
sensor data? Okay. That makes sense. That's good.
The other thing about task I noticed, for example, we would make video games in shop a lot. It was always updating 60 frames per second, and it was very easy to step through because of debugging software, even though it was going that fast. With this, I sometimes have a hard time just following an output menu for what's going on. A sort of breakpoints would be helpful to see oh, this is where the program gets to this. So if we get to a certain if statement, how did we get there? Why did we get there? That would be helpful rather than just a constant flow of data.
Okay, that's good. So what about tasks would you like to have added other than that? Or is there something in task or a few items in task that you think could be done better, or different options, or something that you think make tasks better?
Yep. The two things I would say would obviously be a way to type in it would be groundbreaking for these robots. For personally, people who program regularly with other things, if you were able to type in this anyway, or just maybe have a blank file and go with their conventions. Obviously, with tasks, there's a lot behind the scenes because with normal programming, you don't start with a start program and then end it right away. There's a lot going behind here. The other thing I would say, one of the things that I ran into, which I understand why it's like this, it's to make it foolproof.
Did your laptop? That's okay. Just tell us. Just tell us what.
When you would click on a certain thing, for example, when the question mark pops up, what do you want to set? You would sometimes get you never get constant options. For example, I was trying to find a print screen, and I was just looking through for it, and I realized after that I need to make sure it was on the right hand side of the equal sign because I couldn't print a sign, which it doesn't. It seems like it makes sense for that, but if you were able to see all the options in one window, that'd be nice for what goes where. And really the biggest thing behind that would have to be the documentation on how to find those things and the forms of people saying, oh, this is here, don't mix it up with that, and those things would be huge.
Okay. Unless you got something else to add.
No, I mean, they're great robots. I mean, they're really affordable for schools. Some of the others we have obviously really expensive. They're also really customizable, which is nice. But yeah, all in all, it's a great time to build, and it's a great time to program with, and it helps introduce the ideas. And even as myself, I was able to.
Yeah, you've done the mod. You cut the
Yep.
hole so that you can directly access the.
Yep. So that was another thing. We cut the hole in the chest, so we were able to access the board. I definitely like to look at the head servo and stuff like that, and other options for it. But yeah, it's really a great time with it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Not a problem.